Quiet now, everybody. Quiet, listen to me. We're going to start a show. Now, some of you people have been with me before. You know it's going to be a tough grind. You're going to dance until your feet fall off. You're not able to stand up any longer. But we're going to have a show.
Welcome to the Pink Door Podcast. We're glad you could be here.
It's fantastic to be back, and today we're doing something I really love. We are zooming in, way in.
Hyper local. We're leaving the national news behind and dropping a pin right on Halifax, Massachusetts. We have a massive stack of reports on the desk for January 2026.
We do. The RPR market activity report, the full market survey, even the actual sold sheets. It's a lot of data.
It is a lot of data.
But the mission is pretty simple. We need to cut through the noise. You see all these headlines, about interest rates or the national market crashing or booming.
Depending on the day.
Right. But real estate isn't national. It's street level.
Exactly. It's about a specific house on a specific street in Halifax. So the goal today is to look at the hard numbers, what's for sale, what actually sold, how fast to figure out who's holding the cards right now. Is it the buyer? Or is it the seller?
And, looking at this stack of charts, I think the answer's pretty clear, don't you?
Oh, it's crystal clear. In fact, there is one number on the very first page of this RPR report that it doesn't look real. It practically jumps off the page.
I have a feeling I know exactly which number you're talking about.
The number 4.
4.
Just 4. That's the median days on market for January 2026 in Halifax.
It's a startling number, isn't it?
It's unbelievable. Let's set the scene. We're talking January. In New England, this is supposed to be hibernation season for real estate.
Conventionally, yes. You'd expect days on market to creep up, 30, 40, maybe even 60 days in the dead of winter.
We're at 4 days.
It just defies seasonal logic. To put that in perspective for you, that number dropped 50% from the previous month. The market's pulse isn't just beating, it's racing.
But there's a catch.
There is always a but in real estate analysis. We can't just look at speed in a vacuum.
Right, because speed is usually a symptom of something else.
Exactly. Speed is the symptom. The disease, if you want to call it that, is scarcity. When you dig into the inventory numbers, that's where the real story is hiding.
Okay, let's unpack that. I'm looking at months of inventory right here. It's sitting at 1.78. For our listeners who might not live in these spreadsheets, what does that number actually mean?
Sure. So months of inventory is basically a stopwatch for the market. It asks, if no new houses came on the market starting today, how long would it take to sell every single house currently for sale?
Okay.
The rule of thumb is that 6 months is a balanced market, a fair fight. Buyers have choices, sellers have time.
And we are at 1.78.
We are not even close to a fair fight. Anything under 3 months is a seller's market at 1.78. That is an aggressive, high-pressure seller's market. It means the shelves are basically empty.
And when you say empty, that's not an exaggeration. The market survey snapshot shows only 5 active properties. 5 in the whole town.
It's a tiny number.
Yeah.
And that lack of product is what kills the sales volume. A lot of people see low sales volume and think the market is cold. Like nobody wants to buy.
Right. But here, sales dropped from, 17 or 18 a month in late 2025, down to just 4 single-family sales in January.
So just to be super clear, sales didn't drop because buyers disappeared. They dropped because the houses disappeared.
Precisely. It's a supply-side bottleneck. So when good, stock-clean, well-priced stock hits the MLS, it vanishes.
Right.
That's how you get a 4-day market. Buyers are starving.
Which brings us to the price tag. Because if I'm a seller looking at this RPR report and I see the median sales price, I'm probably pretty happy right now.
The numbers do look good on the surface.
Median sold price, $464,745. But the percentage change next to it says it's up 33.68% month over month. That just sounds impossible.
It does. And this is where we have to be the voice of reason. If you just read that summary, you'd think your house made $100,000 last month while you slept.
Which would be nice.
It's a statistical quirk. It's caused by that low volume we just talked about. When you only have a handful of sales, the sample size is just too small to be stable.
Right, not a broad average. Exactly. 1 or 2 high-end sales in that tiny mix, and it skews the average way up. It's not that the same house is worth 33% more, it's that the mix of homes that sold in January happened to be more expensive.
Okay, that makes sense. So we shouldn't bank on that. But the sold to list price percentage, that feels much more reliable.
It is. That number came in at 102.7%.
Meaning buyers, on average, are paying a premium over asking.
Correct. And unlike the median price, this tells us about buyer behavior. It tells us there are multiple offers. It tells us the market is bidding things up.
I've got a perfect example right here in the sold data. 238 Elm Street.
Yes, the Cape.
A classic Cape. Listed at $430,000. It sold for $460,000. That's 30 grand over ask.
That is the textbook definition of this market. You have a solid family home priced in that competitive mid-400s range, and scarcity just forces people to compete.
The list price is just the opening bid.
In many cases right now, that is exactly what it is.
I want to play devil's advocate. It's not a free-for-all for every house, is it?
Definitely not. Just because inventory is low doesn't mean you can list a shack for $1 million.
I'm looking at 9 Marjorie Drive.
The front-to-back split.
Yep. Listed at $529,000.
Mm.
It closed at $495,000.
Mm.
That's significantly under asking.
And that is the cautionary tale. Even with 1.78 months of inventory, buyers are desperate, but they aren't foolish.
So what happened there? Why did that one sit when Elm Street flew?
Well, usually when you see that, it's about the value proposition. The market penalizes listings that aren't turnkey. If a buyer walks in and sees $50,000 worth of work, an old roof, a dated kitchen, but the price doesn't reflect that.
They pump the brakes.
They do. They'll wait, even if there's nothing else to buy. They know overpaying for a project is a bad move.
So pricing strategy still matters. You can't just get bailed out by the inventory shortage if you overreach.
Exactly. The market is efficient. It knows what a house is worth.
I want to circle back to the speed aspect. The median is 4 days, but let's look at the specific houses. It's almost a tale of two listings in this data.
Let's do it. Who are the Springers?
Okay, first up, 16 Palmer Mill Road. Single family, 3-bed, 2-bath. Closed for $685,000.
That 3-bed, 2-bath setup is the gold standard for families. Very desirable.
And the history shows it went pending almost immediately. Sold in 4 days.
That's the dream. List on a Thursday, open house Sunday, accept an offer Monday, done.
And it wasn't a one-off. 1 John Wade Drive, listed at $619,000.
How long did that one last?
5 days.
See the pattern? That $600,000 to $700,000 range for a good single family, it's just incredibly liquid. If it's good, it's gone in less than a week.
But then we have the outliers, the ones that break the curve. I'm looking at 151 Plymouth Street.
The antique.
Yeah, built in 1870. It is pending now, so it found a buyer. But the days on market,
Hit me.
145 days.
Wow, that's almost 5 months versus 4 days.
What's the difference? I mean, 145 days in this market feels like forever. Is it just the age?
Age is part of it. An 1870 farmhouse needs a specific buyer. You have to love the charm, be okay with maybe sloping floors or drafty windows.
That's not for everyone.
No. A modern 3-bed, 2-bath like Palmer Mill appeals to, say, 95% of buyers. An antique appeals to a niche, maybe 10%. And if you miss on price with a niche home, you sit.
And the longer you sit, the more people wonder what's wrong with it.
Exactly. It just proves that days on market is an average. You can still stagnate while the rest of the neighborhood flies off the shelf.
Now, speaking of what's selling, if you scroll through the addresses here, one name keeps coming up over and over.
Let me guess. Monpont Street.
Exactly. Thorndike Development. The address 266 Monpont Street is all over the active and sold columns.
You really can't talk about the Halifax market in January without talking about Thorndike. They basically were the inventory.
That feels like it.
A huge portion of the closed and active sales came from that one condo and townhouse development. And that's important because it kind of distorts our view of the market a little bit.
How so?
While they're new construction, they command a premium.
I noticed the price per square foot difference. It's massive.
It is. Let's look at the numbers.
Okay, so unit 1207 at Thorndike, which closed, price per square foot was $453.
$453. Now, compare that to a traditional single-family home.
Okay, 1 Poplar Road, active right now. It's a detached single-family, 2-bed, 1-bath, built in 1930.
And the price per square foot there?
$275.
It's a huge gap. $453 for the condo versus $275 for the house. That's a crucial insight for a buyer.
It tells us people are paying a huge premium for new and easy.
Exactly. They'll pay more per square foot to walk into a brand new unit where they don't have to fix a boiler or worry about a roof.
It's a convenience fee.
It is. But if you're a value buyer, doesn't that make the single-family market look like a steal?
It highlights a value play. If you're willing to do a little work or live in an older home like Poplar Road, you're getting way more house for your money.
Exactly. But it also shows where the squeeze is. Look at the entry-level price point, under $400,000.
We have 528 Twin Lakes Drive. That's a condo.
Listed at $389,000.
And it went under contract in 11 days.
Right. So if your budget is under $450K, you're in a dogfight. And you're mostly fighting over condos or smaller units. The single-family homes in that range are rare.
So if you want a detached house, you really need to be ready to step up to that $500K, $600K bracket.
That's the reality. The days of finding a move-in ready single family for $350K are largely in the rearview mirror.
I want to pivot to something a little less obvious. Let's call it the hidden market.
The stuff that doesn't show up on your standard Zillow search.
I'm looking at the distressed section of the RPR report. It's usually blank, but we see some activity here.
Yes, small but important. 3 properties are listed: 63 South Street, 118 Lincoln Street, and 13 Jordan Road.
And just to be clear, these aren't for sale, right? You can't go tour them.
Not necessarily. They're flagged with things like foreclosure notices or complaints filed in late 2025.
That's why I didn't care.
Because in a market with almost no inventory, this is where savvy investors or aggressive agents go hunting for opportunity.
Looking for the shadow inventory.
Precisely. These are properties that might come to market soon, or could be bought if someone makes an offer before the bank takes it. It's complicated and not for the faint of heart.
But when the shelves are empty in the main store, you check the back room.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay, before we wrap up, let's look at the big picture valuation. The median estimated property value. This is the algorithm's guess at what the typical house is worth.
Right. It looks at the whole housing stock, not just what's for sale.
It's sitting at $588,710.
And that's nearly flat down about 1% from last month.
But up over the year.
Correct. Up 3.1% over the last 12 months.
What does that tell you? We saw that crazy 33% jump in the sold price, but the estimated value is flat.
It tells me the market is stabilizing. It's not crashing, but it's not skyrocketing at that 33% rate. It's hitting a high plateau.
A soft landing, maybe?
I think so. 3% growth year over year is sustainable. It means homeowners are safe, equity is holding, but we aren't in some bubble that's about to burst.
So let's synthesize this. If we summarize the January vibe in Halifax, what are the big takeaways?
First, historically low inventory, under 2 months. Second, extreme speed for good homes, 4 to 5 days. And third, a strong seller's advantage, especially in that $450K to $600K sweet spot.
A perfect summary. It's a market of opportunity for sellers, but frustration for buyers, unless they're very prepared.
Frustration, yes, but also clarity. You know what you have to do to win.
Which I guess leads to the final question. What happens next?
And that is the thought I want to leave everyone with. This is January data, historically the slowest, sleepiest month of the year.
The off-season.
And yet, homes are selling in 4 days, inventory is under 2 months, we have bidding wars.
If this is the slow season.
Exactly. What happens when buyer demand peaks in March and April?
The spring market.
Right, when everyone comes out to buy. If we start the spring market with inventory this tight, we could see an incredibly explosive spring.
Explosive in terms of price.
Price and competition. We could see that days on market drop even further, if that's even possible.
So what's the message for a buyer listening to this?
Get your ducks in a row now. Don't wait for the daffodils to bloom, because by then the competition is only going to get fiercer. You need to be ready to move in 4 hours, not 4 days.
That is a sobering thought, but a helpful one. You have to be ready before the rush.
Absolutely. The early bird gets the worm, but in this market, the early bird gets the only house for sale.
Well, that does it for our deep dive. We hope this helped you make sense of the market beyond the headlines. It's wild out there.
It was a pleasure. Always happy to dig into the local details.
If you have any questions about this episode, or if you are thinking about buying or selling a house anywhere on Boston's South Shore from Southie to Sagamore, give Jim Aldred a call. He would love to speak with you. Jim believes that people in transition feel anxious about buying or selling a home, and he provides them with the guidance and security to help your family move on smoothly. Thanks for listening, and catch you on the next episode of the Pink Door Podcast.